as I said, I believe all of these claims are incoherent and at best, and I'll try to explain why. Let me emphasize why I thought this talk was surprising for a pediatric audience. I'm going to be talking only about the use of these drugs in competent adults. There's no question that growing children should not use these drugs because of their serious side effects, particularly the risk of permanent growth retardation from premature closure of epiphyses, plus the obvious inability of children to consent in any meaningful way. And by children, I'll mean roughly anybody under the age of 18. So I mean, just to make sure you don't think I'm completely psychotic, absolutely these drugs should be banned for non-consenting children. My comments are related only to competent adults who make knowing, informed choices to use them. Well, let's start with this claim that these drugs, that anabolic steroids, are unfair. It's hard to know what this is about. First of all, having an advantage over somebody else is not unfair. I mean, I think it is, but nobody else does. We don't say it's unfair that the Lakers have a center who's 7 feet tall and as agile as a rabbit, named Shaquille O'Neal. It obviously is unfair. It's interesting in sports that in some sports, like wrestling and boxing, we go to great pains to try to avoid the unfairness of unequal physical traits by matching people at least approximately for size. And we don't do that in other sports. There's no question that certain teams have advantages over other teams because their athletes are bigger and stronger. Some of you will remember Duffy Daugherty, the former Michigan State coach, who once said, football is a game of luck. The team that's lucky enough to have the best players usually wins. And that's the way it usually works. Sports is unfair because some teams have better players than others, bigger, stronger, faster. Some athletes are faster than others. It's manifestly unfair for me to be in a race with Carl Lewis, who's just faster than I am. But we don't normally perseverate about these kinds of unfairness. The Dream Team obviously competed unfairly against everybody else in the world, vastly superior basketball skills and no matchup at all. But nobody claims that these individuals or these teams should be banned from sports because they have an unfair advantage. And why is that? Well, the claim is, well, it's not their fault that they're so athletically superior. We shouldn't penalize them. It's just sort of the nature of things, and it's not therefore unfair. What would be unfair is if somebody sought to gain an advantage rather than just competing on his or her God-given abilities. Seeking to gain an advantage would be unfair. But it's not clear to me why that's unfair either. It seems to me all of us seek to gain an advantage over our opponents in all sports, sometimes cleanly by better training, by getting better coaching, by reading, by studying, by practicing. The reason we do all that is so that we can have an advantage over our opponents. And to introduce one serious moral problem, I don't know if you're aware of this, but athletes even lie to gain an advantage. It's not been widely publicized, but Michael Jordan would sometimes tell his